Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is an interactive Bible study on worship music. How this all works is we take a song, we dig deep into the lyrics and the music and find the true meaning behind it. And in doing so, we'll be able to hear God talking to us through the music. If you haven't watched my first video, I encourage you, go back, watch that, kind of gives into detail how this works, and then come back here. If you have watched it, great. Let's go ahead and get started. Today's song is It Is Finished by Sean Rodriguez and Disciple. And this lesson is going to be different than any of my other lessons because we are still going into the Bible and going into how the song was wrote and what pieces of the Bible was took to make it. But what we're going to do more is we're going to blueprint on how to create a song. So to me, in order to understand a song fully, to get the deeper meaning behind it, you also kind of got to know how songs are wrote. What makes a song a good song versus a bad song. And I think It Is Finished does a very good job at being able to dissect it, to understand how a song is wrote. And so we're going to start off with an icebreaker question first to kind of get you guys all talking to each other and get you guys ready for the lesson. So what do you think makes a song a good one? To me, the thing that makes a song a good song is the emotion. How the lyrics were wrote, how the song feels, whether it's a sad song and I was happy and now I'm sad, or whether it was a happy song and I was sad and now it made me happy. I really love a song that goes so into depth that it can change the way that I think and the way I feel and the way I speak. So writing a song involves combining lyrics, melody, harmony, rhythm, and structure. Now the melody, this is the main memorable tune of the song, which is often carried by the lead vocalist or a lead instrument. The harmony is created when multiple notes or voices are played at the same time to form chords, which supports and gives depth to the melody. The rhythm provides the song's pulse and groove, creating patterns of beats, pauses, and stretches. Lyrics is a story, a message, or emotion you want to convey. Using rhyme schemes and imagery will make the song memorable, impactful, and relatable to the listener. And the song structure is combined of the intro, the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, and the bridge, and the outro. Now, we'll kind of go into the definitions on those a little bit more when we go into the song. A solid foundation in music and lyrics invites you to open your soul and get a deeper meaning of the song. What do you think is the lyrics' foundation? The core message. This is what tells the story. This is what, if you use the words in the right way, it's going to completely paint a picture. You're going to see exactly what the artist sees. And a song that kind of reminds me of something that has a good beat, that is memorable, that makes you want to dance to, but the lyrics are not there, that makes you want to change your life, is the song Tutti Frutti. So Tutti Frutti, en route. It's a great song with a great beat, but it's not anything that's going to change my life. In fact, that's really about the only thing I know about those lyrics is the chorus. What do you think is the music's foundation? The rhythm. So this is the beat of the song. This is what's going to make you feel and groove, and it sets the tone and the tempo and how everything starts. A good song that has great lyrics but doesn't have a good beat reminds me of the movie Elf. Buddy the Elf is going to see his dad. His dad thinks he's a songwriter, so on the spot he decides to write a song, and he just goes off of what's in his heart, but there's no beat, there's nothing that makes you want to groove. And by the end of his song, it's really awkward that even his dad goes, well, that was awkward. So you definitely have to have the rhythm and the core message. This is the brain and the heart. Without these two things, you're not going to survive. Same thing with a song. Without the brain and the heart, the core message of the lyrics and the rhythm, you're really not going to have a great song. So before we continue into how a song is broke apart, I need you to listen to the song. So when you're ready, go ahead and click the link, go to the song, listen to it, and then come back and we'll dig deep into this. Wow, I love that song. And I pretty much say that about every song that I've picked so far. But this song just has something special to it because not only is the poetry in the lyrics, but it's also in the music. And we're going to dig deep into that and why I think that. So the intro of this song is what sets the beats. This is the start of the song, sets the tempo, the mood, and the key musical elements. Now, at the beginning of this, we talked about this being God's army, the meaning of God's army. And if you think of the military, you think of left, 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 right, left. And in this song, it's whoa, whoa. The hand claps are the mood, the tempo, the beat, but it also sounds like you're marching the same way that the military marches. And the verse tells the story of the song. The melody typically stays the same for each verse, but the lyrics change to advance the narrative. So in verse 1 of this song, Sean is singing. And to break down verse 1, I think the best way to describe that in the Bible is Revelations 13, 7 through 10. Did you kind of hear Sean's lyrics when you read that? It's also in verse 2 when Disciple sings. Now, in between the verses, there's a chorus, but we're going to come back to that. So if you go ahead and read 1 John 5, verses 4 through 5, you should be able to hear Disciple's lyrics in verse 2. Do you see kind of how this is telling a story? It's starting to paint a picture about how it's talking about Jesus is going to win over death. Jesus is going to win over the devil. And this really kind of builds up into the chorus. And the chorus of this song, I think really conveys in Matthew 27, verses 50 through 54. So in this, we're talking about Jesus's last words on the cross. He looks up and says, "It is finished." And the last of his breath comes out. And in that moment, there is a pause. And then all of a sudden, the heavens start to open up. The earth is quaking. There's thunder. There's lightning. It is so terrifying that the Romans have realized the wrongs that they have just did, that they have killed the Son of God. And the tabernacle splits in two. It's a massive movement and a massive thing. And in this song, the last thing in the chorus that it says is, "It is finished." And there's a pause right before the music goes bum, bum, bum. And I love the poetry. I can't tell you how much, the second I heard the song, I heard the poetry in this and I loved it. I love that they brought that passion, that anguish, that big, huge moment that people felt into their song. And it is so cool that they brought that poetry into a song for people to hear that. So we're going to go into the bridge of this song. Now, the bridge is a section that provides a musical and lyrical departure from the rest of the song, offering a new perspective or change of pace before returning to the chorus. Now, in this song, the bridge is Sean's rap. And I am not a rapper. I don't try to be, but it's the part that goes, "Hey, we won and he won. Not because of us, but what he done." And so on and so forth. I encourage you, if you don't know the lyrics, to look them up and really dig deep into what he's saying there, because this entire bridge is supporting the entire story, but also starting to bring you out of the song. And also right after the bridge, before we go back into the chorus, it's going to have a pre-chorus right there. And a pre-chorus is an optional section that creates anticipation and builds the energy before the chorus arrives. So in the bridge, it's talking about Jesus's death. Jesus' death on the cross broke the power of the devil by dealing with sin and death and Satan used to enslave humanity. Jesus' resurrection demonstrated his victory over death, the ultimate tool of Satan. His authority, Jesus demonstrated his authority over Satan by resisting temptation of the wilderness. So that was the whole bridge. So now we're going to support everything that has just been said in this entire song in the pre-chorus. If we're not dead, then we're not done. If we're not dead, then we're not done. This is talking about keep spreading the gospel. Keep talking about this story. Keep bringing people to Christ, letting them know that we are going to win because Jesus has already won. It has already been foretold in the book of Revelations. And then it brings us back into the chorus on why that is supported, why we are going to win, what Jesus did in order for us to win. And so that is how everything is explained there. And the outro is the ending of the song. This is the concluding section of the song, which brings it to a close, often by fading out or repeating a part of the chorus. This repeats the last two statements of the chorus with "it is finished" as the last thing before it fades out. Because that is the most important for you to take away from this song, is Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. So when you blueprint a song, it can help you achieve a deeper message and help you hear God more clearly. Every person is different, which is why we all worship different. Feeling the beat is the same for everyone, but showing the movements can be big or little. See how each member of the worship team will do it differently. If you go to church, you'll see the people up on the platform that sings to you. Every single person has a way of doing it, whether they're lifting their hands, they're on their knees, surrendering, if they're moving to the beats, if they're jumping around from the energy. Every worship person does it differently, and some movements are really big, and some movements are really small. But what they have in common is they're showing God how they surrender to him is the same. So open your heart and your soul when you're listening to worship music. It will create a peace within you. It will show God you surrender to him and invite him to speak with you so that you may hear his message and do his work as he asks of you. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today on this. I know it was a little different than normal, so please stay with your group, talk about it, discuss it a little bit more, or discuss the things that's going on in your life. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.